Welcome to Greece and round 3 of the FIA European Rally Championship for 2014. It's the legendary Acropolis Rally held as ever just on the Gulf of Corinth outside the city of Loutraki. Corinth Canal that separates the peninsula is the venue for the ceremonial start of this event. The Acropolis Rally for many, many years part of the World Rally Championship and an absolutely outstanding rally. Well, as they come here, we have joint championship leaders, Robert Kubica and Esa-Pekka Lappi. Kubica not competing in Greece, and that leaves the goal open for Finland's Lappi to try and use this rally to his advantage and extend his championship lead.
Right up on the crest in caution 40, early slight left flick.
Well, it's the first appearance in competition of the Peugeot 208 216. T16 driven by former Volkswagen Rally driver Dutchman Kevin Abbring. He made a flamboyant and impressive start, taking the lead after 3 stages, but retired on stage 5 yesterday, the penultimate one, with a water leak. Well, what was bad news for him might also have ended up being bad news for Craig Breen, but whatever the problem was for Abbring's car, it didn't strike his teammate's 208 T16. Breen had been in second spot. He won 2 of the day's tarmac stages to take the overnight lead. Freshman Brian Bouffier picked up a punch on stage 2, made an overshoot mistake on stage 3, dropping a little time, but still in second place in his Citroën DS3 RRC. 14.7 seconds, the overnight deficit to the leader. Kajtan Kajtanovic of Poland in his Ford Fiesta R5, worrying that his top speed might not be quite enough on the fast tarmac stages, battling with Brian Bouffier nevertheless, just 0.3 of a second behind overnight. But for Esa-Pekka Lappi, the championship leader coming in here, struggling, lacking torque and speed, 43.8 seconds behind, just ahead of Dmitry Gryatsin, the Russian, Vasily Gryatsin, the Russian. Bruno Magalhães, the former Portuguese champion, returning for the first of 6 ERC rallies. He's in a 207 this time. Next time out, he will be in a 208 T16. Well, leg 2 was all about tarmac. Leg 1, rather, was all about tarmac. Leg 2, all about gravel. Very different format for the shortened 2-day European Rally Championship version of the Acropolis. And it's an earlier time of the year as well, so although there is sunshine around, it hasn't got the searing heat of midsummer. There was a little bit of a sprinkling of rain on day 1. Well, 7 stages rather in the second leg, 6 on gravel, just the super special, stage 10 held on tarmac. So the first 3 stages in the opening loop in the morning. Stage 8 is the longest, 22.2 kilometres as they loop to and fro across the Corinth Canal. And starting bright and early, 9 o'clock Sunday morning. The clock's changing overnight, meaning 1 less hour of sleep. Esa-Pekka Lappi, the Finn, in his Super 2000 Skoda Fabia, now the former dominant car in European Rally Championship terms, starting to show its age against the newer machinery. 5th man on the road. And really a little bit at sea yesterday on the tarmac. On the gravel today, though, more at home. 4th quickest through the stage.
No, not good time, but yeah, I tried to come, but I didn't get the feeling because less grip, so not good, but I just have to, you know, try to improve.
Well, like all the European Championship runners, he is a rookie here. He's not rallied on the Acropolis before, nor has Kajtan Kajtanovic, the Pole, 6th starter overnight, battling hard with Brian Bouffier for 2nd place overall in the rally. Well, they have competed against each other numerous times in the Polish Championship, which Bouffier has made his sort of rallying second home. Kajtanovic finishes in 11 minutes 59.5.
Staramy się cisnąć jak najmocniej. To jest odcinek
Pushing very hard, he said.
mimo wszystko.
It's quite similar to yesterday because it's really quick.
Ciśniemy, ja staram się
Even though
znaleźć
it's on
dobry rytm. Droga jest
gravel,
bardzo równa w tym
still trying to
momencie.
find some sort of
Bardzo
rhythm, he
równa.
said. So
Na drugiej pętli już taka nie będzie.
we'll have to see how it goes for the
Jesteśmy
remainder of the
zadowoleni,
loop.
staramy się walczyć o
Got to
zwycięstwo,
try and push
ale to
hard
jest
though,
bardzo
because
trudne.
Brian's very close. Brian is very close. Just 0.3 of a second overnight between the battlers for this second spot. Bouffier with the slight advantage. And seventh man on the road, maybe a few less loose stones under his tyres. Well, on the stage, right after Kajtanovic's Ford. Gets to the end, and he's over 12 minutes. He's dropped 10.8 seconds, and he drops to third. Well, not a great time in the stage. Kaita had a super excellent run, he said. We've got to try and push a little harder on the next stages because the gap is widening. Craig Breen started 8th on the road. Came through just a fraction quicker than Kajtanovic, 0.8 of a second. But that's enough to extend his advantage. Kajtanovic moving up to second. Craig Breen keeping his head. Of course, with this brand new car making its debut. They were 1-2 at one stage up until the retirement of Kevin Abraham yesterday.
I'm discovering the car because our test was very short on gravel, so we're carrying 2 spare wheels and it's made the car a little bit different, so but very, very loose in some places, very, very loose, so I'm happy to get to the finish.
Of course, coming from Ireland, he's grown up with tarmac stages, so all this rallying on the loose is still being learned, but learned fast. Breen in control as they get to the second stage of the morning. Near Keneta, 22 kilometers and change. This is Vasily Gryatsin. He is a Russian, but rallies on a Latvian license and slow through here. He's picked up a puncture, finding somewhere to stop and change the wheel. Costs him over 3 minutes. So Esapaka Lappi go by him, and he drops from 5th to 8th, Gryatsin. Lappi in the Skoda, a long way from the fastest time on the stage, though. As you can see, very dramatic moment. He continued for about half the stage with a puncture. 26 seconds it cost him. In these conditions, it's arguable whether it's better to change the puncture or not. He decided not to. The time loss significant either way. Well, Kajtanovic having dramas on this stage, having just moved up to second place. Has a problem with power steering. Had to reset the car in the middle of the stage. So apart from the leader, it would seem everybody struggling on this one. So Kajtanovic comes to the end, 14 minutes, 18.1 seconds. Goal open for Brian Bouffier to try and capitalise on that. As you can see, lots of loose rocks and gravel on the roads this early in the spring. Very sideways indeed, the Frenchman. Pushing hard. Starting to dial himself back into gravel mode. 14.18 is the target. He's going to be well inside that, isn't he? He's going to take 10 seconds back. Oh, and more, 12.5. Brian Bouffier moves back up into second place.
Early 4 left minus of a crest, don't cut.
And as for Craig Breen,
30, flat 2 left into dip. And 2 right of a crest and slow 4 left minus short.
co-driver Martin Scott on the notes.
70 going down, stop up. 3 right minus, tightens. And crest and sudden slow 5 left plus, new dip. 30, flat 1 right of a crest, 70, flat 1.
Fast, fluent and communicating nicely with his driver. 6.9 seconds slower than Brian Bouffier through the stage, and arrived at the end of the stage with past the rear bumper missing, which told its own story. Bouffier 19.5 behind, but now 21 seconds ahead of Kajtanovic after that problem with the power steering for the Polish driver. Has that settled the battle for second place? It remains to be seen. Lots more action still to come on the Acropolis Rally. 2014 Acropolis Rally forms round 3 of the FIA European Rally Championship. We're on the second day after day 1 was all tarmac. Day 2 features the rocky roads of the Gulf of Corinth Peninsula and the classic puncture-laden Acropolis car breaker stages. This is stage 9, Loutraki, the third of the stages, the last before midday service in the morning. Kajtanovic, the battle raging between the Polish driver and arch-rival Brian Bouffier. Kajtanovic took second place after the first stage of the day, lost it again after the second. Well, he and the Frenchman have no option now. They know they're in a hand-on-each-other's throat battle. Whoever lifts first will lose the spot. Classic Greek hillside roads. Should be familiar to many, many World Rally Championship drivers. Last time this was a European spec event, back in 1968. Ford's weapon of choice then would have been, well, Mark I Escort, perhaps. Brian Bouffier in his Citroën DS3. Citroën's rally weapon of choice in '68 would have been a DS as well, the original Goddess. Well, Kajtanovic, 12 minutes and 10 seconds through the stage. Bouffier not over happy with his driving so far, wasn't quite convinced he was as good as he should have been on tarmac yesterday. Still not quite found the rhythm after the first 2 stages. Can he get through here and hold on to the second place that is seesawing between himself and the pole? It's going to be close. This battle for second could well come down at the end of the rally to tenths of a second, not whole seconds. 2.4 slower. And he drops to second place. He was 2 seconds in front. He is now 0.4 of a second behind. Craig Breen, the rally leader, maintaining his advantage over the Kajtanovic-Bouffier battle. Lapi Magales ahead of Tarabus in his Skoda. And then Griatsin struggling on both days here in Greece in his Ford Fiesta Super 2000. So into service. Lunchtime at Loutraki. Kajtanovic having a problem in the second of the morning's loop with a power steering failure. They had to reset the car's electronics. Now, after rebuilding the tarmac spec car into gravel spec overnight, they have it ready for the final 4 stages of the event. Short super special on tarmac, but as you can see from the high wheel arch clearances, the car's still very much in gravel spec. Makes them a bit wallowy. Kajtanovic was 4th quickest. Brian Bouffier jumped ahead again. Jaromir Tarabus was fastest of all.